Welcome trainers to the first week of Pokemon Celebrations in review. Pokemon Celebrations, of course, being the 25-year anniversary and celebration of all things Pokemon. We have undertaken this vast 25-year journey, starting off in the Kanto region all the way back in 1996, and now concluding, for now, in the Galar region, now in 2021. Okay guys, just before we get into today, we're going to be discussing some of the issues that have kind of come up and some of the questions that you guys may have had, such as supply issues, then we're going to talk about the drop rate specifically for the core set, and then the really sought after reprint of the classic cards as well. And then we're going to talk a little bit just more about the overall ratio of individual cards in the set and just what your chances are of pulling that base set Charizard. Today we are talking to Connor, also known as Doomsday, and we would like to welcome you, Connor, and I would just like to ask you, how has your first week of celebrations been?
Oh, this set is so fun to open. I'm so glad to have a chance to talk about it. Last week when sets dropped, there is always speculation before a set comes out of like if you're going to be able to get your hands on it. I was super lucky. My local game store had stock and actually continued having stock all weekend. They got their allocation, and there's a lot of demand, but equally seems to be plenty enough supply, at least locally. So went down, got my hands on a couple of ETBs, Elite Trainer boxes, cracked them, and the nostalgia hit when you crack one of these packs is just a different level to what even I was expecting. I was excited for this set, but this is just so much more than I think anything else could have been.
So to just bring your point back to the supply, so I've noticed that as well, that a lot of places really kind of had there was a lot of fear online, especially about like the possibility of delays, and I know some of the product has been pushed back a couple of weeks, but this almost seems like this staggering has allowed people to actually get their hands on more product than if it had all just been released at once. It kind of seems to have mitigated people buying in bulk, so it means that we as collectors and players can go out and just pick up this product without having to worry about receiving absolutely nothing, right?
Well, so actually that's a really good point. When we talk about Pokemon releases, the word waves comes up a lot. And I'm going to try to avoid using it because we kind of use it to be like they produce one set of a set and then later on they'll print some more. And that's not necessarily going to happen with Celebrations, though early indications are maybe they could. I mean, right now it's selling really well. Why wouldn't they print more to make some more money? But what they have done is, like I said, that staggered release schedule. Most years when we have these big kind of collector-y sets in the autumn, what we would traditionally see is everything come out at the beginning of October. Basically, beginning of October, bang, here's your set, go get it. This does mean that those who maybe haven't had their payday or are in a position where they have to wait a little bit to get their hands on product can miss out. If you don't have the money at the beginning of the month, you're at a disadvantage. Because the vast majority of people who have saved up or
prepared in advance
trying to
buy, get the set.
Exactly. So they get their hands on the product and you miss out. This new-ish approach that they've gone for, I really like that they've done the kind of the Elite Trainer boxes and a lot of the pin badges and a few of the other products at the beginning of the month, but we actually know for a fact there is a second wave, that's that word, later on in the month where we have things like the little collector's chests, we have the ultra premium collections, we have all sorts of extra products coming out later on. So this means that you're not really disadvantaged if you can't get it at the beginning of the month, because frankly speaking, if you're trying to get your hands on just packs to open, those products at the end of the month actually have a better pack per euro ratio than even the Elite Trainer boxes. So actually works out that if you're patient with this set, you might even get better value and maybe even get your hands on those sweet gold metal cards that they're doing.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, I mean, there's almost some sort of incentive now to wait to get your product at the end of the month because of the fact that the Ultra Premium Collection has those gold cards, something that we've never seen before in Pokemon's kind of history. So it almost incentivizes you to wait that little extra while and pick up it when it does come out towards the end of the month.
Well, and not only that, it also means that if you pull doubles of some of the cards, we'll come on to the pull rates in a minute, but if you do pull doubles, the pricing on the initial weekend for singles was wild. no one knew what to expect, right? We didn't know if we would be getting maybe 2 or 3 of the Classic Collection per 10-pack Elite Trainer box, or if we're looking to one every other pack, one every pack. We had no idea what the ratio was going to be, which meant prices started pretty high.
Yeah, I had myself a quick look, and it was very pricey, even kind of pricing myself a little bit in terms of getting some stuff. So Connor, it seems from the first week of opening that from the main core set of celebrations, some of these cards are a little bit easier to get than we thought they initially were. Cards like the Sporty Pikachus and the Full Art Professor Oak have been actually appearing a lot more than we initially thought that they would.
Well, yeah. So, something I noticed when I was opening the packs, because it's actually not something that was mentioned anywhere, everything this set is rare. Which means nothing is truly a rare, right? If everything's a rare, then the rarer rares are actually just taking up the uncommon/rare slot that we would usually see.
Not all rares are equal.
Exactly. But then when you open your normal pack, like your normal main set 11 card pack, the rare in there could be basically a throwaway card to a lot of people. You know, it's kind of, you pull a lot of them. Now we're down to 4, and everything's a rare. Everything's hollow or better. So actually the odds of getting any particular card are pretty good. And we've seen that with a few of the kind of main set chase cards. So we're talking the Full Art Pikachu is one of them. I think a lot of people have a lot of nostalgia for that card.
Yeah,
like
a nice retrain about Chubby Pikachu. Like, I mean, that's one of the things that I'm kind of looking for, and I'm glad that it's kind of a little bit more available than I thought it was going to be.
Exactly. it works out as being like €1 or so, I think, at the minute. And that's because it's basically every third pack, it felt like, for me. I opened quite a few. And that's kind of true with a lot of this set. So the Pikachu, I think you put it as Sporty Pikachus. I love that name. But they're not super uncommon. The VMAXs are slightly less common than the Vs, as we would see typically in the main set that we know. But again, not super hard to get your hands on. One of the ones, there's actually 2 that are slightly more difficult to pull. One of them is the Full Art Professor Oak, which is the Professor's Research Professor Oak version. And it's playable, but even being playable, it's actually surprisingly affordable. We're looking at like €5 a card, give or take at the minute, depending on like language and things like that. Which is insane, because it's a Full Art supporter card that is super playable. Like, if you play the game and not just collect, this card is one that you will put 4 of in basically every deck, and you can get beautiful copies. I love the art on this Oak. For basically nothing? Well, not nothing, but nothing, like a lot less than you expect.
Much, much less expensive than initially would have been thought.
But the one card from this set that is annoyingly hard to pull is the secret rare version of that Mew. So not only is it super playable, the ability is actually really good if you're a competitive player, but it's a secret rare, and actually is taking up that kind of looking pull rate. It's looking like it will have a pull rate similar to main set secret rares.
Do we have a speculative?
So I think we're looking at about 1 in 100-ish packs is a secret rare Mew. I know some people who've said they've opened like 20 packs and opened 3. So I'm just like, okay.
It's always going to be those people who are not you.
Exactly. Yeah,
it definitely seems like the consensus at the moment is pick up the cheaper cards you want before they kind of dwindle in supply, and then maybe wait it out to the end of the month to see whether the more prolific chase cards are going to come down in price if the supply of them comes out a little bit more once we get the ultra premium collection and stuff like that.
Exactly. It's jump in where you can.
So then, jumping onto the contrary, in massive contradiction to the kind of main set, the classic collection is looking like getting the master collection of that is going to be a little bit more difficult, right?
So it looks like the hit rate on a classic collection card, so from your 4-pack or 4-card blister pack, it looks like 1 in 3, give or take. I've seen some people open 4 and miss everything, and seen people open like 3 or 4 back to back. So we're looking at about 1 in 3 packs has a classic collection card. Which,
so while it's not
from an
unlikely,
opening point of view, when you get to crack a pack and 1 in 3 has something interesting, that really makes you want to open more packs. right? It's not like with a booster box where you can kind of get nothing for a good run, or an Elite Trainer box of some products where you're not guaranteed anything. You could open all the packs in there and be sat there going, well, ouch.
That hurt my feelings and my wallet.
So this is definitely one of those things of there are a lot of cards keeping you interested, and if you have a long history with the game, I don't think there's anything disappointing in them. Again, there are rare cards in main sets which you pull and you're like, oh well, I guess it's technically a rarer card, but also, yay, it's a Ditto.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing, is like, for long-time players, you step into this and you are, like, on average, every 3 to 4 packs, if you have been playing since its conception, you are going to get that wave of nostalgia. You are going to get hit with that Ratatouille-esque moment where you are sitting there going, whoa, I'm a kid again, and I'm sitting in the schoolyard, and I'm opening packs, and I have just pulled this card that everybody is talking about.
It is, but there is a word of caution there, right?
Right.
Yes, hitting a Classic Collection card.
3 and 4.
Not super unlikely.
Yeah, any specific one. Yeah. How likely is it that every pack you're going to go, oh, there's another Charizard?
Yeah, but what we do have is varying pull rates, it looks like, for some of the Classic Collection, which is always going to happen, right? There is only so much space on a sheet when you print the cards. You decide how many go on per sheet, and each sheet's identical, so you're going to end up with slightly different ratios.
What seeding you're going to get.
Exactly, and that kind of defines pull rates a little bit. So it looks like there are some cards that are a little bit easier to get than others, but then there's also the issue of supply and demand within this, right? There are some cards where if you ask anyone what they want from Celebrations, there are 2 cards they will always name. They will always name the Gold Star Umbreon.
Umbreon, yeah.
Because I want that too. And they also name the Base Set Charizard, because, frankly, everyone wants that.
It's one of those things that it's so desirable just even as a collector's item. But then again, so is the Umbreon, right? It was, if I'm right, it was a tournament exclusive at one point almost.
Basically impossible to get your hands on it in a mint copy. And that's the issue that we then run into, right? Is, okay, the Charizard's not necessarily much rarer than, say, the Blastoise or the Venusaur. And the Umbreon is equally not necessarily that much rarer than some of the other cards. But when everyone wants them, that drives their prices up.
Demand is definitely overshadowing supply here, right?
Yeah, and I honestly think that this is going to continue being the case, but I'm going to add a little asterisk to all of this. Because I've been checking Cardmarket because I really desperately want to buy an Umbreon, and I've been looking at the prices, and it looks like a lot of them aren't currently selling, in that where the price is currently set for some of these cards might still be a little bit more than most people are willing to pay. Now, that obviously always happens with collector's items, right? With collector's items, really, a lot of people end up being priced out of the market, which is unfortunate. But we are seeing this slow decrease on the Charizard and the Umbreon. The other cards have seen a much quicker decrease. Last Friday, I pulled a second Blastoise after I opened my first Blastoise, and immediately went to Cardmarket to go, I wonder what this is worth. And then it was like 40, 50 euro, and I was like, sweet, gonna list that. It's 20 now, which is 1 week later, half the price, and it's probably gonna, I wouldn't be surprised if it settled at like around 20, maybe a little lower.
It seems like a good price for it at the moment.
Yeah, and this is the thing, is if you're really after specific cards, I actually think buying the singles here is kind of the way to go. And I'm always going to say this as someone who has a competitive mindset. If I'm buying cards to build decks, I buy singles. But this is particularly the case for, say, something like the Luxray Level X and the Garchomp Level X re-releases, right? If you're someone who wants to build old school decks, like the Luxchomp deck, using both of these cards, they're less than 10 euros a piece right now, give or take, and you could just pick up your play sets of both of those, and off you go, without having to spend the 50 retail plus whatever you're actually paying on the secondary market for the 10-pack ETB, where you're not even guaranteed to get them. So it's like always a risk versus reward, though brilliant set to open, and I actually think maybe maybe the best set to open, I think, ever, in my opinion.
Bold statement.
Even though it's only 4 cards in a pack.
Fair. Which, yeah, I mean, when you look at it, you kind of like, you come around to the idea of 4 cards in a pack, you're really going, is this it? But when you have the chance of pulling something that is just so exciting and so nostalgic, it kind of makes it worth it, I think. It really does make it worth it, even though it is a 4-card pack.
I mean, there's no need to wait, right? There's packs literally here. We can just crack some open now, and people can come and tune in and watch that.
I think that is exactly what we are going to do. And I'm going to have an absolute ball doing that. I cannot wait to be a little boy again. Thank you very much, Connor, for coming on and talking to me about this. Okay, guys, I would just like to thank you all for coming here. We are all collectors at heart at Cardmarket, so it would be very, very much appreciated if you could collect the like button, the subscribe button, and that notification bell as well, and get the whole set going. Anyway, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Best of wishes.